Like most horror movie characters, Michael Myers is one that has never been referred to as weak or forgetful. In fact, a bigger question has been on my mind while rewatching some of the Halloween movies. Is Michael Myers human, superhuman, or just pure evil? But before we get into the different versions of Michael Myers spanned over the last few decades, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button so you can be notified for my next new video release. Fair warning, this video will contain spoilers from the recent released Halloween Kills and a few mentions from the other films in the franchise. So if you haven't seen it, please do, then come back and watch this video. In 2018, when Blumhouse and director David Gordon Green unveiled to fans that the latest Halloween movie would be a part of a trilogy, I was excited. But then it dawned on me that if it were part of a trilogy, then we must know that Michael will not die in Halloween Kills. Then again, does he really ever die? After all, Michael Myers is the boogeyman. There is no definitive answer, but keep in mind, the Halloween movies are separated by 4 different timelines. Each of these timelines tell their own story or incarnation of the shape. If you've watched my first video, one of the things I discuss is not knowing why Michael is the way he is. From the very first time we were introduced to Michael Myers, his psychologist, Dr. Loomis, stated that Michael had the darkest eyes, the devil's eyes. The only thing living behind them was purely and simply evil. As we visit some of these timelines, do you recall back in Halloween The Curse of Michael Myers, a religious group belonging to the ancient cult of Thorn placed a curse on Michael Myers when he was a baby? It was revealed that this curse caused him to be possessed by Thorn, which is a demonic force that requires its host to sacrifice their family on Halloween night. Another fact about Thorn is that it offers supernatural gifts to its host. Now this would explain a whole lot given the fact that Michael has been beaten, shot at, stabbed, and not to mention surviving numerous death traps, one that we recently saw in Halloween 2018. But let's have a quick look at Halloween H2O, which started a fresh new timeline after the events of Halloween 2 in 1981. Halloween H2O eliminated Laurie Strode's daughter, to her now having a son by the name of John. Michael's capabilities and strengths were very visible in this movie. How he moves, how he walks, and how he creeps up behind you unexpectedly, again living up to the title of the boogeyman. The one scene I'm referring to in Halloween H2O is a scene in the 3rd act of the movie. Laurie demands her son and his girlfriend leave the premises as she is ready to face off with Michael one-on-one with an axe. As Laurie walks around the hallways of the private school, Michael uses one arm to lower himself down from the pipe near the ceiling to sneak up behind her. It's one thing to lower yourself down with one arm, but here are a few things to consider. Number 1 is balance. If you look at his body, he's not wobbling or anything. He's holding himself perfectly straight. Number 2, the pipe that he's lowering himself down from isn't more than a couple feet away from the ceiling. There aren't any steps or chairs in the area that would allow him to get so high, which means that Michael had to jump up on the pipe by himself, waiting to prey on his next victim from up above. The ending of Halloween H2O gave audiences a very definitive ending for Michael Myers, or so we thought, because in Halloween Resurrection, we learned Michael was not resurrected through any supernatural by any means. It was revealed the man Laurie beheaded wasn't Michael at all. It was a paramedic whose vocal cords were crushed by Michael Myers. Out of all the Halloween movies, Rob Zombie's version depicts the most human Michael Myers in my opinion. Rob's films almost had an otherworldly feel to them as we saw dream sequences and hallucinations. Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 almost took a Freudian analysis as to why Michael kills. Michael, in a way, being guided from victim to victim by an hallucinatory manifestation of his dead mother, but also having his own mind represented by a version of his 10-year-old self. In my opinion, the closest Rob Zombie's movies get to the supernatural is a vague hint of a psychic connection between Michael and Laurie in Halloween 2. At one point, Michael starts eating the flesh of a dog, and Laurie, who's a vegetarian, starts vomiting. Laurie also starts to experience visions of her mother. Laurie sees a child version of Michael towards the end of the movie, who is holding her down, or so her mind believes. In a way, Rob Zombie film indicates that Michael is severely mentally ill, and that it runs in the family. The most recent Halloween movies released in 2018 serves as a direct sequel to the 1978 film. Here, we see there is no family connections between Michael and Laurie, Michael just kills without any known reason, and yet gets stronger and stronger. So I want you to think about that for a second. For anyone who thought Michael would have gotten weaker over the years, think again, because we never have seen him this diabolical. I knew the guy was always a force to be reckoned with. I mean, he practically flipped an entire car over with his hands in Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. Director John Carpenter referred to Michael as the Shape in the script, and it fits with the idea that Michael is not a man, but the boogeyman. There are no rules confining the boogeyman like there are for vampires or werewolves. The boogeyman is something that completely lurks in the shadows and is feared by children. In the third act of Halloween Kills, Michael not only should have been unable to move for hours on end, if not dead, after being attacked by a mob, but in a way he somehow resurrected himself into full-on beast mode, killing in the most brutal fashion like he never has before. This movie heavily flirts with the idea of the supernatural, which leads me as to why I think there are some supernatural elements to him. Because if you look back to where it all began in 1978, the film closes on a series of shots of empty rooms. You can hear the sound of Michael breathing heavily in all of these shots. This sequence conveys the idea that the boogeyman could be lurking anywhere and everywhere, including your home. So is he real? Can you ever escape? The mystery remains unsolved.